Hello, my lovelies. It's that time of the month again where I come at you with my roundup of all the BLs released in the previous month. March was not a bad month for BL fans. It wasn't great, but it also wasn't boring. We still had a few good shows that kept us entertained throughout the month. So, without further ado, let's recap all these shows one by one. Let's go! In my opinion, the last season of Young Royals ended on a very logical and satisfying note. The series kept up with its contemporary nature, and what happened at the end felt the most rational outcome to me. I believe that our current society has progressed a lot, and for William to sacrifice his love and his freedom for his position and his title would have just looked very orthodox. I also loved how August was able to slightly redeem himself in this season, because we also saw that he was a very troubled and complex character, and it was good to see some insights into his backstory and why he became the way he was. Edwin and Omar slayed their parts as usual, and I can't believe we won't have any more Young Royals in the future. I think the popularity of this show is a sign for Netflix to produce more international BL shows like this. For me, this was the perfect end to the series, so I will give this show a 10 out of 10. The Thai version of Cherry Magic was really good. I won't compare the Japanese and Thai versions here because the plot points of both the series were very different. The Thai version followed the manga, whereas the Japanese version cut out a lot of the manga and had their own concise version. I'm used to seeing Tae and New's characters in intense and emotionally charged shows before, so it took some time for me to adjust to Tae's green flag version and for New's character to be so mellow and laid back. But once I got invested into the show, I really enjoyed it. Each episode was like a sweet treat for me, and sometimes it feels good to watch a show where there is no major conflict and just all around positive and wholesome relationships. I also liked the second couple, but I do think that their story wasn't given the attention it deserved. Overall, this was one of the best shows GMM TV has released so far this year, and so I will give it an 8.5 out of 10. As a fan of the Osan's Love franchisee, I can say that this show was even better than the original Osan's Love that released in 2016. I enjoyed watching every single second of this show, and I was laughing my butt off throughout. I think many people get turned off by the idea of two middle-aged men and an older man involved in a love triangle, but let me tell you, this show is not about a petty love triangle. Every episode has a unique theme that will make you laugh, that will make you emotional, and maybe you will learn a thing or two about how to better your own life. The Osan, or the older man, played the role of a guardian or a loving mother-in-law in Maki and Haruto's life, and not a competitor of Maki. He was and remains a valuable part of their life, and the whole show is a journey for Maki to slowly realize this fact and accept it wholeheartedly. I'm not lying when I say that this show out of this entire list is my favorite show, and one that I will remember for a long time to come. I give this show a 10 out of 10. The thing I really like about Perfect Propose is that they show the struggles of a Japanese office worker's life in a very realistic and raw way. Often we hear about how it's challenging to have a work-life balance in Japan, and no other BLs have been able to portray this reality properly. They just show a tired office worker lead, but Perfect Propose literally lets the viewer experience the life of Hiroguni. They show details of what he does at work, how he is unable to cope with the pressure and stress his boss puts him through, and how he is unable to leave the environment because he feels responsible for his co-workers and fears that he will burden them with even more work and stress if he quits. I also think that there wasn't enough interaction between the two main leads because the show revolved too much around the office dynamic and Hiro's stressful work life. So I couldn't feel as connected to their relationship as I was connected to Hiro and his job. Overall, I think the show needed more episodes for me to care about Hiro and Kai's relationship. I was more interested in seeing Hiro cope with his work duties and finally realize that the job that he's so stressed about will go on without him as well. And so I will give this show a 7 out of 10. Somebody put a feather in Enflo's cap for producing yet another crappy series. They have achieved this impossible task of spending the sponsors' money on a yet another trash-worthy show. People are saying that the only good thing about this show are the NC scenes. Tell me what is so good about watching a choreographed NC scene that looks more like a corn video shoot rather than two people making love? The loud and fighting ladies were giving me a headache, and the actor who plays Foam is hilariously bad at acting. Enflo has produced only one good show till now, and that is Second Chance the series. Apart from that show, every series that they have come out with has been dustbin worthy. I will give this show a -10 out of 10. I usually like all Japanese BLs, but this is an exception. Although I Love You and You was boring as hell and the main leads had no chemistry whatsoever. The office worker guy's personality was as bland as unseasoned tofu, and I have no idea what made the ML fall in love with him, especially when his ex was so charming and came begging for him to take him back. The scene where the ex Mizuki almost kisses Sake had more heat and passion than all of the kisses Sake and Soga had in the series. It also felt like Sake was forcing his feelings for Soga and he still had lingering feelings for Mizuki. I think the writing of the show was not able to convince me that two guys who have literally nothing in common and no physical chemistry can fall so hard for each other. I will give this show a 4 out of 10. I've seen countless number of high school BLs, but trust me, I've never seen a high school BL like Dead Friend Forever. Every episode had me on the edge of my seat. I was making up my own theories. I was so contradicted about certain characters and relationships. And when I'm that involved with a series, I know that it's really good. It's hard to believe that leaving a few, most of the actors are new and still performed better than majority of the well-known actors in Thai BL industry. I do think though that Barcode stole the show with his performance. My heart was hurting watching him suffer, and the character Non was such a contrast to his character Che in Kin Porsche, but he embodied Non perfectly and I couldn't imagine any other actor playing Non's character so well. I loved that none of the characters shown in the drama were perfect. Everyone had a dark side, some more than others, but I'm still satisfied with the ending. I really need BOC to make more dramas like this, and I want to congratulate the company for always raising the standards of Thai BL. I will give this show a 10 out of 10. The concept of anti-reset was so interesting, but the execution was really poor. In my opinion, they could have done so much with the AI-human dynamic, but they made the series really boring and slow. The AI guy was good at acting and he was able to emote even though he was a robot, but the professor guy was acting more like a robot than the actual robot. His expressions were so stiff and one note. Looking at his face made me want to lie down and take a long nap. There was potential for this series to be funny as fuck, even funnier than You Are Mine, but they completely fumbled the concept and made the series all about AI doing the household chores, being embarrassed about looking at underwear, which doesn't even make sense because he's a robot, and looking at each other's faces for far too long. This was a poorly written and directed show, and I will give it a 3 out of 10. I will take Tele and Perth together in any shape or form. This was far too short, but I'm happy they interacted and the magical chemistry is still there. There isn't much to say about this shot, but it made me want to see Perth and Tele in a series all over again. I hope the BL gods bless us and we get to see Perth and Tele series announcement this year. I will give this shot a 6 out of 10. Cherry Magic anime was amazing. As a Cherry Magic fan, I'm so glad I watched this anime because I got a lot of insights about Adachi and Kurosawa characters that I wouldn't have known if I didn't watch this anime. This anime is true to the manga and probably has more accurate description of characters and story than the Thai and Japanese live-action versions. You will probably laugh at me when I say this, but the anime characters had more heat and passion than the actors who played in both Cherry Magic versions. If you are a fan of Cherry Magic, you need to see the anime. You will absolutely love it. I will give this anime a 10 out of 10. Delete the main couple from Jazz for 2 because I was only focused on the second lead story. I want to file a police report because not giving enough screen time to the second lead couple is criminal and deserves a life sentence. The second lead story was more emotional, more intense, and had more angst than the main couple. The main couple were bland and boring, and the UK's dark pink lipstick and no expressions was making me very angry. I don't know why, but his character was written very poorly. The first time Sehun met Juha in the piano room, he was harassed by him and he still decided to meet him again in the Norebang and fought with Tae, who was trying to protect him. His instincts were broken and it made no sense as to why he's so dumb that he repeatedly protects Juha even though he was making him uncomfortable, and so easily forgives him. His character angered me a lot. Sehun and Tae had no chemistry and I found myself skipping their parts because they were boring as fuck. Song Ha Gyom, who is a member of Omega X, is the breakout star of the show and he deserves so much more attention and opportunities because he absolutely crushed his role as Do-yoon and made the show bearable to watch. I will give this show a 6 out of 10. I want to support Myanmar making more BLs, and Healing Tingyan was a good first attempt. It was cute and the main leads had chemistry. I want to say that the production quality was way better than some other BL producing countries. I'm looking at you, Philippines. I want to see more of this couple and I want to see Myanmar making more BLs. I will give this series a 7 out of 10. Everybody please go watch this show and support this production company by subscribing to their channel. So these were my ratings of all the shows that aired in March. As always, please leave your ratings in the comment section below and I will see you all soon with a new video. Bye!